Welcome into the Monday Morning Quarterback UK with your boys Ben, Bids and Kriski. How we doing, boys?
Good, thank you.
Yeah?
How are you?
Yeah, man, we're in the new year.
Happy New Year, gents.
Happy New Year and all that. That's the last time we're going to say it though, because I'm tired of it already.
Mate,
I've had it 86 times today.
It's the 2nd of January, I'm already tired of it.
Yeah, man.
It's painful.
Yeah.
Furious.
But yeah, it's been a while, Bids.
Yeah, I know.
Where have you been?
I've been on adventures. Been in Mexico. I was there for like 9 days. I'd highly recommend it, especially around December time. You go away for a little bit, come back, a little bit of work, and then you're off again. So it felt like I was pretty much off for the whole month. Good weather, missed all the snow. Snow up north. Snow up north. It's back in his neck of the woods.
It's like 13 degrees here.
Windy though.
Yeah, man, it was like 30 where I was, so hey, I'm winning.
It's a hard life.
Christmas is good. Seeing family and that, friends. And then New Year's, I'm not really a New Year's person, but yeah, it was alright. Like, calm. Well, it's good to be back though.
It is good. Yeah, we're into the crunch time now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. How was your Christmas? How was your New Year?
Mate, Christmas and New Year was so chill. Lovely. Just didn't leave London. Just relaxed. Yeah. Oh, mate. Absolute bliss.
Jealous.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah. None of the family are listening, but yeah, honestly. Yeah, lovely and chill, man. But yeah, how about you, Ben?
Chill. Yeah, really nice with my family and then with Jenny's family. It was nice, man. I didn't really do anything. I'm not a New Year's guy either. Like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do any of that. So we spent the last few years.
Unfortunately, we're too old for that now.
Literally, man.
We are, man.
Do you know,
Jeez.
Do you know what I found in my kitchen the other day? It was a bottle of Grey Goose vodka. I was like, when was the last time we drank this? Like, what decade was
you
this?
bought it back from my beef like a couple years ago.
Like, honestly,
To be fair, that was what it was. It was going around to my friends for New Year's, and I actually took as much booze as I could just to leave it there, so then it's not in my flat anymore. I just don't want it anymore.
You're not kidding. Genuinely, when I come here to Biz's place, I am tempted to always bring stuff because I know him and his brother will probably drink it.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm here for it. I'll take it.
Yeah, all the freebies.
I keep bringing rum.
I'll take it.
I just keep bringing rum to
You
the
got
place.
some more? Bring it.
I've got loads of rum, yeah.
Bring it.
I will. I've got ginger beer as well, which I don't drink. So
Bring it.
All of it, mate.
Bring everything, yeah. Yeah, man, it was good. Yeah, we just chill with our parents on New Year. Just do dinner, drinks. That's nice. Just chilled.
Man, do like a 6-course meal on that.
Usually, this year
Really?
it kept on right. Yeah. Her dad cooks. He's
That's
chefing it
rogue.
up. Yeah. This year, I think he just took it easy because he'd already cooked a lot, like over like the week. So
Switched to 4 courses.
Yeah.
he just did a banging lasagna, to be honest, and it was
And you seen all the timber you're putting on.
sensational.
Yeah.
Hey, I did put away a lot of that lasagna actually. I finished that tray.
Mate.
Lasagnas are sensational, so
You're not going to fit in your wedding
Fair
suit,
enough.
mate, if you keep
just
that
get it
up.
bigger. Just get it taken out. It's fine. All right, cool. So one thing I did want to do is New Year's resolutions. So everyone does them, but have we got any? We're in the new year.
Yeah.
What we saying?
You can probably guess mine, so yeah.
Keep on running.
Yeah,
Yep.
run first.
Run more.
What
Yeah.
continent are you going to run to this time?
Running the length of the country this time, so yeah, watch the space.
I don't know if you're joking or not.
Nah, serious. So serious.
Crazy.
What?
Yeah, next July.
You seen that crazy run, which is from like South Africa?
Oh yeah.
Like, north of
Hardest
Russia.
geezer. I'm not that crazy. Not
Wild.
I've
Not
never
yet.
heard of that.
No one's done it yet, have they?
yet. No, he'll be first one. Yeah, he's still got about another 100 days to go, but yeah.
I've just done over 100
Yeah.
days.
How many days is it going to take?
I think he's done 290 now, maybe. Yeah,
Couldn't be
something
me.
like that.
It's just another
He's not even hit the
100
desert yet. Like, he's still
I
got
don't
a
think I could physically run 2 days in a row.
Yeah, and that he's going to be well over a year.
No days off, just...
No, mate, he's doing like 60k a day. I mean, he's had a few days off because he's been like kidnapped and
Excuse me?
Huh?
Oh,
legit.
pause.
Honestly,
Wait,
some of the
what do you mean
story.
he got kidnapped?
This guy's been kidnapped by like villages, or he's been held at gunpoint. He's had problem with visas. Like, he's had the works, and he's had like illness. He's been like pooing himself an awful lot. He's
That
had
was
blood,
unnecessary.
urinating blood. All it. Like, honestly,
Alright, you can stop.
follows
Yo!
his
You
Instagram.
can
The
stop.
guy is mental.
Yo! The kidnap part was rogue.
Yeah.
Right past that and went straight to bodily fluid. I was more interested in how he gets kidnapped.
Mate,
He's
he's
just
running.
jogging through and they're
He's
like,
running
hey,
through.
Hey, come here.
Yeah,
I'm the captain now.
Come here.
You've got a guy with a massive ginger beard just running down the road with a backpack on, like.
Oh no, I have seen him.
Yeah,
They take his
I have seen
backpack.
him.
they've been robbed so many times, man. Like,
Has he just got people back?
yeah, he's got support vans, he's got sponsors, like they just ship out more stuff to him. Like,
Ship out more stuff.
but yeah, mate, he's killing it. So,
Where's he now?
Can't remember off the top of my head now. I know he's like into probably the last third of Africa, so he's getting there.
That's long.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause most of it is just running through Africa. 'Cause it's so big. Because where did he start? South Africa.
South Africa.
So like
And because he
two-thirds
can't go directly straight, so he's had to go up, round the west of Africa,
Never.
and then back
why
up.
can't you go straight up?
One, because
Some
of like
country.
politicals, and then also desert as well. Like
Oh yes.
you can only follow certain, which is actually roads.
Countries you don't want to roll through. I guess.
So yeah, mate, let's check him out.
Wait, and yours is to run more?
No, mine's just the length of the UK from London to Edinburgh.
Okay.
Like that's nowhere near.
Oh, okay, that's wild.
But
Mine is a lot less. Mine's fitness related as well,
yeah.
but mine is just actually a guy that some guy I know. He does it every year, and it's 45 minutes of exercise each day. But I'm gonna slash that to 30 because 45 is kind of long. But every day in January.
Nice.
45 minutes of exercise. Read 10 pages of the book, and 3 liters of water.
Yeah.
Each day.
Picture book out.
Huh? I got plenty, man. Look up there. I got plenty.
You've got books. I've heard of that. There's like the variations of that.
Yeah, there's different.
Yeah.
I usually do a variation, which is just half an hour of exercise every day.
Yeah.
This is kind of more than that. So, but someone's doing it.
I love that.
You?
They're all fitness related. They always are, aren't they? But I want to do something that's achievable. I think yours is pretty achievable. Might be a little bit of a stretch to do every day because that's the tricky thing.
I've done it before. I've done the 30 minutes every day before.
Yeah.
But the extra, I think the reading is long as well. Like, but I can just read on the way into work on the train and that. So it's,
So I want to be just in better shape, like because back when we went to Ibiza, like I was in fairly good shape. Hey. What's your problem? Everyone else was making jokes. Just funny guy. Yeah?
No, we supported you. Yeah.
I support the weight loss.
Dick. But since I had the surgery last year, I've never really got back to actually being in like like normal person shape. It's kind of not really done anything.
Semi-normal person
What's
shape.
your problem?
You need to get a bit, yeah.
Do we need to cut this off and just fight a little bit, and then we'll get back on and just.
I'm sorry. Carry on.
That was basically it. And
Okay.
now.
That sounds good. They're all health related, man.
I need motivation.
I got
That's
you.
it.
I got you.
I hate yours.
I hate
your style.
I'll send pictures of you to you every day.
All right. Before Ben changes his resolution.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We want to do more podcast stuff as well.
That's true.
We've got some cool podcast ideas. Yeah, we've got some cool ideas for the off-season. Obviously, off-season coming up. Starting from mid-Feb until all the way up to September, August. Yeah. So it's a long off-season, so we've got a couple ideas, so some cool stuff coming your way, so we'll hopefully get some stuff out in the off-season and do more of that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Let's kick on to the usual juicy stuff. Kriski, what you got for us? Who did a thing that we don't know about?
Yeah, so there's a couple this week. So mainly because the names are class, and I know Bids was just going to go mad for him. So yeah, first one up, unknown player, Bo Melton, wide receiver for the Packers, and yeah, he balled out. Yeah, against the Vikings in that big win. So 9 receptions for 105 yards plus a touchdown. So yeah, not bad for your little receivers after a couple of people out this week.
He played well. I was watching the game. He played well. He was open a lot. Like he was getting space quite a lot. So he might get some reps more.
Was he a rookie?
I think so. Or if he's not really played.
Yeah.
He's like 4th, 5th wide receiver on the roster. But he might get more opportunities now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and then the second one today was Little Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah, this was my recommendation.
This was
a crazy name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
We're not talking about someone who is little. His name is Lil Jordan. Lil Jordan.
Lil Jordan.
Right. I think that's just a no. Yeah, he deserves to be on the list just because of that. But then he did actually get 2 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, he did well in that big win against the Chargers, and earned his right on the unknown. Yeah,
I mean, he's done a few bits throughout the year, but we've not really talked about it. But his name is ridiculous.
And his touchdown was nuts. He was dancing through everybody.
Yeah, he's got
everybody
moves.
5 times.
He's got moves, man. He's got moves. All right, cool. Let's crack on with a little bit of a college football update. So I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, we've been on our winter Christmas hiatus. So we spoke a little bit about the college side of things, so the bowl games coming up, some cool bowl games, and then obviously the semi-finals and then the national championship game. So the 2 semi-finals were actually last night. Well, for you guys it's Thursday, so they would have been Monday night. So it was between Alabama and Michigan, and Washington and Texas. So Michigan being the first seed, Alabama being fourth, Washington 2, Texas 3. That Alabama-Michigan game, which is the Rose Bowl, was nuts.
Yeah.
So did you saw some of it, didn't you?
I woke up and I put it on for the fourth quarter. So.
Absolutely nuts. So just I'll try and keep this brief, but so Michigan muffed the initial punt, which means they fumbled it. So they punted to them or kicked off to them, and then they the receiver fumbled it, and Alabama recovered it and then punched it in for a touchdown. So down 7 immediately, which is rough. And also that's happened to Michigan. Not the exact same thing, but they've always been down at halftime in the previous 2 playoff appearances, which is rough because they're never behind against anyone, and they immediately go behind.
Yeah.
So, other than that, Alabama offered basically nothing in the first half. So they had that, and that was it. But despite that, it was still 13-10 going into half.
Okay.
Then Alabama made some adjustments at halftime. So Nick Saban's really well known, who's the Alabama head coach, really well known for his adjustments at halftime and the changes he can make and how quickly he can flip it and bring things into his favour. So pretty aggressive adjustments. They started getting things working on offense. They went up 17-3 moving into the beginning of the fourth quarter. So then Michigan got nothing going on offense. So Michigan got absolutely nothing going on offense because Alabama's adjustments on defense took them out of the game basically for the entire third quarter. So at that point, Alabama are up. So final drive, down 13-10, Michigan get a little bit of offense. They got nothing going through the third quarter and most of the fourth. End of the fourth, they get a little bit of offense. They go for it on 4th and 2 on their own 30, and they get it.
That's bold.
So it goes. They manage to punch it in. That's the only time they've got anything going in the whole second half. They make it 20-all with 1 minute 30 left in the fourth. Alabama punt. Michigan muff the punt with a 1 minute 30 left. The receiver jumps back on it, half a yard away from
literally
could
half a yard. So close to being a safety.
It was this far away. Nuts. I was like, there's no way you're about to give this game away in the most ridiculous fashion.
Wait, what was that? What, knee was down and went into the end zone or what?
Basically, so he picked it up and tried to get himself not away from the end zone, and he got tackled and his knee went down.
Just short.
Honestly,
his heart must have just flashed, man. That life just
crazy.
Imagine, because he would have just given it away for Michigan.
He wouldn't have made it out of the stadium.
Yeah, he would have been absolutely
nuts. So at that point, you're just trying to avoid the safety.
Yeah.
Because you're only half a yard. You're not marching down the field 1.5 minutes left at that point. You're just trying to avoid the safety and go to overtime, which they just managed to do. Then, so we've spoken about overtime before. So it goes to overtime at 20-all. We've spoken about overtime before. You start on the 25. You try and score points. You try and score a touchdown, and then the other team has an opportunity to score. Not sudden death, but effectively sudden death. So shoot out. So you get if you score a touchdown, the other team has to score a touchdown, otherwise it's over. So, and so on and so on. So goes into overtime. Where am I on my notes? So Michigan run it twice for 25 yards and a touchdown for Corum. So Blake Corum is their running back, who gets the Michigan touchdown record with that. So that he's then the top touchdown scorer for Michigan ever with that. Which is crazy on overtime run.
Yeah.
Alabama then take over to try, so it's 27-20 to try and then score their touchdown. They make it 3 yards out. They go for it on 4th and 3 because you have to, you have to. And the centre gives him a bit of a dodgy snap. He just grabs it but can't run. He tries to run it through the middle because it was the only option he had at that point, and doesn't make it and gets stopped immediately. So brutal. An absolutely nuts game. He almost made it, and then it would have gone into another overtime. The wild thing was, basically, Alabama probably should have just won that game, but their centre can't snap the ball. So this is, I don't know.
This is one of your main jobs.
Yeah.
We spoke about how difficult
that every day.
We spoke about how difficult the position is because you need to snap it and get your hands back up.
Exactly. But all season apparently it's been a problem, and he just couldn't get it going. And some of the stuff, honestly, they'd stop drive because he'd just snap it along the floor, and the quarterback would just have to dive on it. Or he'd snap it wide to the right, and the QB would have to dive at it just to keep himself in the play. It's ridiculous. But yeah, man, nuts game, absolutely nuts game. So Michigan make it into the national championship game, but I'm glad I stayed up for that because it was entertaining as hell.
And there's Jim Harbaugh, whatever his name is, back coaching, back on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's there.
Back stealing signs.
I mean, probably trying to do it more legally now, but yeah, probably. The second game was still good, but not quite as good. I mean, you're not going to be able to follow up the Rose Bowl with that was way too good.
Yeah.
So, Washington, Texas, back and forth first half, both teams putting up 21 points. Michael Penix was just throwing dimes. So all season he's been throwing dimes. He was second in the Heisman voting, but he was just launching it all over the place. He put up 430 yards in the air in that game. He was just dashing it all over the place. His over-under on yards was like 330.
430?
He put like 430 like 30 yards in the air, yeah.
He got no rushing offense.
Didn't need it. He was just dashing it. They don't run the ball all that well. They run the ball fine, but he can just launch it. He can put it wherever he wants. He's gonna get drafted. Like he's gone.
Fair.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
Texas obviously put up 21 as well in the first half. They found more success on the ground, so they finished with 180 yards on the ground. So it's way more than Washington. But Quinn Ewers still threw for 318. So it's not like he didn't throw the ball well. And one of his main targets, Xavier Worthy, was injured as well. So he played, but he was banged up going into that game. So, but yeah, nuts, bit of a shootout. Washington took control in the third, scoring 10 to Texas nothing. So again, adjustments being the big order of the day in this one. The better coach or the coach that can make the adjustments tends to win it, because whoever wins the third often wins the game. Because if you can keep yourself in it at halftime and you're within a few points at halftime, if you can win the third quarter, you're in with a really good shout. So your adjustments clearly take the toll in the third. And it just, again, a story of adjustments. Washington's adjustments just were better. Bit of a fight back from Texas, 10-6 in the fourth, which is still not quite enough against a tough Washington team who can score at will. Finished 37-31, but absolutely nuts. Penix Jr. can just launch it wherever he wants. Like, so many long plays, just...
Where do you think he's going to go in the draft? Let's say, how many quarterbacks go before him?
Is he getting drafted this year? Is he getting drafted this year?
No clue.
I can't remember if he's getting drafted this year, but he'll get drafted pretty hard.
I'm sure he's getting drafted this year. Because Caleb obviously go before him.
Yeah.
And Drake May will go before him.
Yeah, Drake May will go before him as well, because, again, absolutely nuts.
And then he's number 3? As in the third quarterback, number 3 pick.
I don't think he's going to get... I don't think he's put himself forward for the draft this year. No, I don't think he's...
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think he's... I don't think he's put himself as draft eligible.
When's the deadline for that? We'll figure it all out.
Yeah, we'll have to look, but it's normally... No, I think it's already passed, I think. But I don't think he's up for the draft this year. But when he goes, he'll go in the first round.
Okay.
Like, for sure. They're interested next year, because Shad Sanders will probably go as well.
Isn't he going this year?
No, I think he's stayed, and Ewers is staying as well, didn't he, for another year?
Yeah. So
interesting.
But he'll probably go in the top 10, maybe top 15. Okay. Probably second quarterback drafted, maybe the first. Like he's nuts good. A second in the Heisman.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the national championship game is on the 9th of Jan, midnight, so late on the 8th if you think about it that way, between Michigan and Washington. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. But yeah, that was definitely. So I mean, we'll move on to our game of the week. But I mean, that Alabama-Michigan game was definitely my game of the week. That was unbelievable. What a great game to watch! Like I was gonna go to sleep, and I was like, I'm definitely going to sleep. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else have we got for game of the week? I just spoke a lot about that. But Vince, what do you like?
I'll go for Cowboys-Lions.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was set up to be a good game. Both quarterbacks were shooting. Dak threw for 345 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 13 receptions for 227 yards.
That's mad, isn't it?
Freak.
Absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, 227 yards and a touchdown. Goff threw for 270. So like, didn't have a bad game, but unfortunately the talking points are how the game ended.
Yeah.
So it ended 2019. Amon-Ra St. Brown scored a touchdown with 23 seconds on the clock. Lions went for a 2-point conversion. which was a trick play, but where they would make their offensive lineman Taylor Decker eligible.
Yeah.
Ran the play. Decker caught in the end zone. Thought it was a touchdown. However, there was an issue because the official announced the wrong player number as eligible.
They messed
so
up.
It was illegal touching.
Yeah, they messed up big time.
Dan Campbell was pissed.
Mate, everyone was. Jared as well was like.
Everyone lost it.
Yeah.
Everyone lost
Seen
it.
so many clips of Jared Goff speaking to him.
Yep.
Go and make yourself eligible. Him speaking to the ref.
But it gets worse because pre-game, the coaches speak to the refs and explain all these trick plays to them.
Yeah.
So they explained exactly what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Exactly that the three offensive linemen were gonna walk over to him, so that there was uncertainty on which one was eligible, and he called the wrong number.
Yeah.
But he called number 70 instead of 68. But 70 was like wiping his jersey or doing something which I don't know, must have confused the official. But he knew they told him.
So he's been pre-warned and he still got it wrong. Because
Exactly.
I can see where the confusion kind of happens because three players have gone, which does probably refs like which one. But if he's been told before the game,
And the ref also wasn't properly listening. So as the lineman running over to him, he just started jogging away.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're gonna do. Then he announced the wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's just an issue with officiating.
Because the thing is, you're thinking at that point, oh, we'll just fix it because you know that it was actually that guy, but you can't because the defense changes based on the player that they call as eligible. So there's literally nothing the refs can even do at that point because the Cowboys would be like, well, hang on a second. You can't say that guy's eligible and then let someone else catch it.
Yeah,
Wait, so what? Do the refs tell the Cowboys if the...
Yeah, they announce it.
They announce it in the stadium. They say 77 is eligible or whatever. They announce that.
Oh,
So
okay.
everyone knows that. Lineman's going for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or it'll be they make someone eligible but then don't throw it to them because then the defense has to adjust for it. But it often causes flags because O-lineman going downfield to catch the ball just causes illegal shifts and all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah.
Hence why they flagged this, but.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that would have won the game.
yeah. So they would have won in the game, but they raised the flags. They got a 5-yard penalty, but Dan Campbell still went for it from the 7-yard line, and then Goff threw an interception, an incompletion.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at that point, surely you just kick a field goal.
Kick a field goal and send it. Yeah.
Kick an extra point, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then you go into overtime, probably.
It's a bold choice.
Well, you go 2 point from the 7 as well.
It's a bold choice.
Yeah, but I guess that's kind of that's been them
That
all
is Dan
season
Campbell.
though. Yeah, they've been
them.
going for it all
They
year.
want to
Yeah,
kick you in the teeth or
By your kneecaps.
yeah, your kneecaps off when they're coming back.
There's going for it and being bold and aggressive. Then there's just you lost your mind.
Yeah.
Like there's no way the analytics was like, yeah, you're going for that. 7 yards, easy job. Like, against the Cowboys defense. You've only put up. You just scored a touchdown. Before that point, they scored 13 all game.
Yeah, but I guess because he would have put them still in a chance to get the 1 seed, but yeah, like I guess they know they've got the division tied up.
You go to overtime, right? And you can still win it in overtime.
Yeah, but Dan Campbell was like, "No, I'm going all out."
I think 7 yards is a lot.
Oh yeah, massively. Yeah, I agree with the first time going with it. I'm like, yeah, that's a bit of fun.
Love that.
But yeah,
it paid off as well.
Because that's a toss-up.
It did.
Technically,
it did pay off.
Because that's a toss-up, right? Because can you make 2 yards now, or could you win overtime? There's so many variables when you get to overtime. Who gets the ball first? Because they march down and score a touchdown, you don't even get a chance to have the ball. So I like going for it 2 yards because they're aggressive. That's how they play, and they've also just scored a touchdown, so they've got momentum. And the Cowboys are on their heels. I'm like, we're about to lose this game. We were winning at 30 seconds left, and now we're about to lose it. That makes the defense panic.
And it's a trick play so that the defense are already panicking.
Exactly.
Because they're trying to second guess what's happening.
7 yards out is rogue.
Yeah.
That's a rogue choice. But I mean, I guess at that point he's locked the division up, so it doesn't really mean that much to him. But he was still in with a shout of being the first seed, though, no?
I think if they ended up winning, they would have still had to bank on 49ers losing the game, but
which they could have done.
Yeah. They could have done. But
I mean, it's clearly who they are. Fair enough.
But yeah, that leaves both teams on 11-5.
Yeah.
Sets up some juicy games in the last week, though.
Yeah,
which we'll talk about in a minute. But Kriski, what did you like?
I love the Ravens. Yeah,
just a blowout.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't see that coming. I thought Dolphins might have scored a bit more, but that Ravens defense turned up. 2 picks, sacked 2 or 3 times, actually held him to his lowest passer rating of all season. And then Lamar on the other side of the ball was electric.
Lamar got a perfect rating. Perfect passer rating.
That's nuts.
That's been had 5 touchdowns. Yeah.
We know Miami's defense isn't all that, and we know that Miami's offense, although explosive, but up against good defenses, has had some trouble before. So I'm not overly shocked by it. But how many points did they score? 56.
56.
That's wild.
56 points.
That's crazy. And then what did he get? 5 passing touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah.
He could give 5 passing touchdowns to Lamar. Not that he can't do it, but he never does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that has probably secured his MVP this year.
Oh, 100%.
Easy.
Yeah.
100%.
Easy.
Yeah.
I mean, Brock never deserved it anyway, really. Did
I mean, he was in
man.
contention. Like, it's not like he didn't deserve it, and he was like, it's not crazy to select it.
Team Lamar.
But yeah, so that secures Ravens as the 1 seed in the AFC, and that takes them to 6 games in a winning streak, which it's not bad when you're closing off the season.
Do we feel the Ravens actually have enough to win the Super Bowl, though?
It's tough because I guess they're still going to have to come up against Kansas City or even a Buffalo.
Yeah, man.
And then, yeah.
I'd say so. Look at the teams that they beat. They could beat anyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have. They got a young wide receiver in Zay Flowers, but he's been balling out. Like he's played well.
They've got a decent run game.
Odell's is playing quite well. Yeah.
I don't
decent
think
running game. I know they got Mitchell and Gus Edwards are just 2 dual threats. It's they could do it all.
Yeah, I do think they're very top 3 in every sort of department. Like they are pretty good. So yeah, I think they've got enough to get there. 100%. It just depends, obviously, if the 49ers are on the other side.
Yeah.
Whether they turn up and you do get the best 49ers, then that might be a little bit too much.
Depends on injuries as well. So
but
if CMC is injured, then that changes the game. Quite literally.
It literally changes everything for the 49ers if he doesn't have... If Trent Williams gets injured, I genuinely don't think they make it out of the first round. Like, they just aren't anywhere near as good. And if they go down at halftime, if Brock Purdy isn't leading at halftime and Shanahan isn't winning at halftime, they lose. 35. They've lost 35 of 38 games when they're losing at halftime.
What's about that?
It's a horrendous stat. He literally can't win games from behind. They have to go up early and they have to lead because they've got a strong running game. They've got talented players, but the quarterbacks they've had have never been a win from behind. I'm going to launch it down the field. You need to be leading from a position of strength, and I think that's always been the problem for me with Brock Purdy and winning the MVP. Is if he doesn't have all of those players and is leading at half time, he has lost every time this season.
I get that, but he's breaking records just by himself. He's a leading passer in a season for the 49ers history.
Yeah, and that is really, really impressive.
But most things he's doing is impressive. But it's like he has to be the best player in the world every single game just to become just to be decent.
Which is surprising. I was listening to some.
No, I'm just talking about in general. Yes, we're talking about MVP now. I'm talking about in general. Like, it's like he has to play the best game he's ever played every single week. Otherwise, he's
this is what I was listening to the other day. And someone said it's like, everyone else loves an underdog story. So why is this suddenly now a story that no one likes? He went last in the draft, dropped in it, third backup choice, and then he's still come on, went 7-0 as a starter, got injured in the championship game, and yet come back, still had an incredible season, and yet everyone's like, oh no. They still... Why is it so different?
Do you know why I think it is? It's because his whole team around him, essentially people believe that is the reason why he's doing that.
But everyone else in the team also say the only reason we're good is because we got Brock.
Of course they do. That's because they're not going to say the only reason we're good is because he's garbage. Because, I mean, you say the right line, but then they also go past that right line and go, yeah, guys need to actually start recognising him. I think you back your quarterback every day, regardless. Some
players
there were people backing Aaron Rodgers in the team, even though he was literally saying toxic stuff about the team on his way out the door. Yeah. And people were like, "No, he's still our quarterback," and you're like, "Yeah, he's going to the Jets tomorrow." But I hear what you're saying, but I think people see it as whoever Kyle Shanahan has at quarterback, it works. People knocked Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo has basically been the same as Brock Purdy in terms of winning, like how much they've won. He's not that different.
They got similar records. I don't know.
Really
I really don't think they have. But
yeah, they do. Definitely do. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo is basically offered the same as Brock Purdy did. And people were like, nah, Jimmy Garoppolo is just a game manager. And you're like, okay, but what's Brock Purdy? And I get what people are saying about maybe he isn't just a game manager. I've never said that. Maybe I have said this. He's a game manager.
Plenty of times.
Yeah, but he may be a little better than that.
Yeah.
How much are you going to pay him? Let's say he's up for a contract right now. How much are you going to pay him?
I ain't got those figures to give you, man.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Is he worth as much as Trevor Lawrence? Is he worth as much as Lamar?
Well, recently, Trevor Lawrence, no.
I'd say no for both, but I'm not trying to put. I'm just all you need is one good season to be MVP.
Yeah, and I just.
Yeah, I just don't get I get why people like him because he's on a winning team and he was Mr. Irrelevant, and that is a cool story.
Yeah, but
my problem is no one's going to pay him a big contract.
This is something straight out of a movie, but we don't get to that point when they pay him a big contract. It ends after that season where he has a great seson.
Yeah,
that's all we care about.
Cinderella story, and then guy injures himself the next day and then never plays again.
Exactly.
I think I would be if we're not doing bold takes so much because we're towards the end of the season, but if you want a bold take for his career, he will never be paid starting quarterback money.
However, he could easily be a starter for the rest of his career. He could
only in San Francisco.
You reckon?
I don't think he starts.
This is a losing battle
anywhere else.
Yeah, he's gonna go on about
this season right now. Over the starters. Who should have been the starters?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think many teams start him willingly. Because you have to. If he's a starter, you're paying him. If he's a starter, you're paying it. There aren't many teams that have got a starter right now who isn't being paid, apart from Baker Mayfield, who is on $4 million, by the way. Baker Mayfield's salary this year is $4 million.
And that's not being paid.
That's not being paid at all.
Honestly,
for the quality of work
he's put in this
I'm
now?
proper fanboying over Baker this year.
He's been great.
He's been awesome.
But based on what Baker's done this year, if he was a standard paid quarterback, you'd expect him to be getting paid Dak. He's been probably not far off Dak this year, maybe slightly worse. Dak's getting 35-40 million this year. So Baker should probably have earned 35 million this year. The problem is he's had bad seasons before. Yeah. He's going to get paid this year. He's only on a 1-year contract. Someone's going to pay him because Tampa Bay are going to want him back.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway, we've gone way off topic, but that was an unbelievable game. You love the blowout. Interesting. I like a hotly contested game. Kriski just likes to see points.
Yeah, just because the teams like.
Yeah, I was expecting. Yeah, that was a big game, man. Both of them coming in, but yeah, Ravens.
I'm not knocking it, man. You want to see someone get cooked? That's fine.
Yeah, all day, mate.
That's fair enough. All right, cool. Bids. Who got injured and who's it going to impact, and what's the deal for the playoffs?
I'll keep it to just playoff teams. So I've only got a couple down here.
Yeah.
First one being Ravens cornerback Marlon Humphreys, calf injury, didn't return, but they've got nothing to play for in the next game, so you probably get rested, have a couple weeks off. Yeah, they've got a bye week, so then hopefully he'll be back, he'll be fine. Cool. Bills tight end Dawson Knox had a concussion, didn't return. Josh Allen had a stinger, which is those weird
we spoke about different pinches or
nerves
injuries, but it's not been reported in many places, so he's probably fine. Dolphins is where the big injury was. Their linebacker Bradley Chubb tore his ACL. Someone juked the shit out of him, and he tore his whole leg off. But that makes number 35 of the season.
Nice.
35 of the season, and just an ACL fact for you. There's been 530 ACL tears in the NFL since 2013.
That's
530.
10 years.
35 so far. Last year there was 51. So I don't think we shouldn't get to that number now.
You hope not.
You'd hope not.
Yeah.
51 last year, 56 the year before, and 63 in 2013.
That's crazy.
So we keep saying that it's getting worse, but I'm not convinced it is.
Jeez.
63 in 2013.
What the hell was going on in that year?
Probably playing all on turf.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, also they lost Xavier Howard, their cornerback, to just down as a foot injury, and he also didn't return. And Tua went off late with a shoulder injury, but that was probably just to sort of hide him away because he was embarrassed about getting blown out.
And they've got a massive game this week.
Exactly.
So
there's no point risking him. Just a couple more. Eagles wide receiver Deontay Smith left on crutches and then a boot on his right leg, but again, it's not that clear what it was. They'll want him back. He needs to play.
He
was just starting to come into form a little bit.
As the Eagles are dipping in form.
Yeah, man. They're in some trouble.
Yeah, they are a little bit.
Big trouble.
They're in some trouble.
And then another big one potentially is CMC, Christian McCaffrey. He left the field with a calf injury, and I think he returned briefly, but then sat out the rest of it. But you mentioned Brock and his weapons. If one of his weapons is down, obviously the team's worse. So
they've got 2 weeks off now, so I'd imagine he'll be back.
Yeah, they've already announced he's not playing the last game.
There's no chance.
There's no point, man.
No chance.
Elijah Mitchell will play. They may even bench Brock.
Elijah Mitchell played well when he came on. He scored a touchdown immediately.
That offensive line is solid. Like you can play almost anyone behind that line, and they'll do all right.
So Jimmy G's gonna play, and we'll see how they compare.
Jimmy G's injured in Las Vegas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sam Darnold's the backup.
My bad.
Yeah, Sam Darnold will still cook them. Watch Sam Darnold put up similar numbers to Brock Purdy, and then we'll see.
Yeah, because they're in the same team and slightly worse. He's learning from Brock. You sit behind him, learning from him.
Sam Darnold is garbage.
Mate, and they're playing the Rams, who have also got a playoff spot already, and so mate, that's just a dead game, that.
That's my quick roundup.
Cool. Let's take a break to pay some bills. The Fantasy Game Day app is a way to play weekly monetized fantasy NFL. Use the code MMQBU, deposit £7.50, enter a lineup, and you'll get a free £7.50 to play with. We did it again, so I did it not the most recent week, but Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah.
The Christmas Eve one came 10th. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty juicy. 20 quid. Nearly got top 3, which would have been 100 quid. CeeDee Lamb let me down. Didn't do anything in the second half.
Really?
If he'd had, so this most recent where we were saying about how many points he got, about 227 yards, 13 catches.
40 points.
Yeah, if he'd had that, I'd have come second.
But I'm sure a lot of other people would have had him.
No, I checked.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, I had him captain.
Okay.
I had him captain. Only one other person had him captain, and they would have also top 2.
CD let you down.
He's the obvious captain every week.
He is that guy.
He really is.
Just wasn't involved in the second half.
Yeah.
So a bit of a letdown. But I came 10th, won a little bit of money, and that was off of a free entry from the guys at Fantasy Game Day. So can't say
Nice guys.
Nice guys.
Yeah, man.
Where's that free entry?
Yeah. I got free entry.
You got it?
No, I got another one.
Don't worry, we'll tell you after.
Yeah. So cool. Next week, who are we liking as our captains? Who do we like? Kriski.
Well, I've gone against CD Lamb hype. I've gone AJ Brown. Philly must-win game. If Devontae's out as well, everything's going through him. And
Julio Jones. Or Julio Jones.
Julio.
My name is Julio, whoever that guy is.
Julio Jones, man. Legend of the game.
2 receptions, 2 touchdowns last week.
Wild.
That is mad.
That's wild.
But back in AJ Brown. Yeah.
Alright. Bids?
I would have gone with my old trusty CeeDee Lamb, but I want to throw something different out there. So I'm going to go with Kyren Williams. So we know how much of a beast he is. He's playing against the 49ers team who have nothing to play for, so they'll likely rest their key players. They don't want to get anyone injured. I think he's just going to run through walls and score about 17 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. I can't get away from CeeDee Lamb. Every time I've made him my captain, I've made money. I just can't not make him my captain. If he puts up a 40-point week, I basically don't make money.
Yeah.
So he's got to be in there. He's just playing too well, and they need a win.
Yeah.
Like he's been best wide receiver over the last 4 weeks, second best on the season. Like can't say no to that. He's just that guy. Disappointing in the second half of that game, but he's still got me in top 10. So here's what it is.
See if he comes back again this week then.
Oh, I've got a good feeling. Anyway. Download the Fantasy Game Day app now. Use code MMQBU when you sign up. Deposit that $7.50. Free entry for you. Now let's get back to the episode. Well, that takes us nicely on to next week, or kind of the future of the NFL. So what is our playoff picture looking like? Kriski, what's the situation now? Who could play who? Where are we at?
Yeah, so I'll start with who's actually clinched the playoff spot.
Yeah,
so
nice.
obviously in the AFC, you've got the Ravens and the 1 seed, then the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Browns.
Yep.
All clinched the spots. And over the sides, in the NFC, 49ers, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles, and the Rams have all clinched.
Yep.
But so that means it's quite a little bit still up for grabs. So currently in the playoff wildcard spots on the AFC, you've got the Jags, the Bills, and the Colts. But this could change quite significantly because on the bubble we've got the Texans and the Steelers. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Which I think the main one, which I guess we'll focus on first, is the Bills and the Dolphins, because the Bills can still technically top the AFC East.
Yeah.
Which that's out of nowhere. How we were like, they're not going to make
takes for weeks was that they're not going to make the.
But they can still very much not even get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It is actually, if they lose the Dolphins, and then I think if the Texans pick up a win.
Yeah. And Steelers.
Yeah, I
and
think.
Colts.
Yeah, the Bills actually come out. So.
There's a lot of scenarios that include like ties and stuff
Yeah,
like that, which never happens. We're not going into that.
But it looks like the Bills will probably make it in. They're pretty likely. But like the Bills are more likely to make the playoffs than the Jags.
That's going to be the next one. But I guess firstly, then, so who do you think's going to win that game and top the AFC East? The Dolphins or the Bills?
Bills.
You think the Bills are going to come through?
I originally said at the start of the season that I thought they would split it, so the home team would win both. But I think injuries to some of Miami's players, they're not playing as confidently. Tyreek Hill, what was that drop?
That drop was crazy.
He was
juggling. That would have changed. That would have changed the direction of the whole game.
Yeah,
because they would have gone up 14-7 or something like that.
Jalen Waddle was out in that game, didn't play. I assume he's probably going to be back for the next game. But I'm not 100% sure, but that changes things. So I just think they don't look quite the same team as they did. So, and the Bills are on a 4-game win streak. After being 6-6, they're 10-6 now.
Yeah.
I think they come into Miami and take it. I think Bills are more of a fair weather team than I think people think they are as well. So people think because the Bills have an open stadium and they're in the north and they play in the snow, they're better in the snow. They're really not.
Yeah.
Like they play well in nice weather. So I think they could probably fairly easily come into Miami and beat them.
Yeah, I felt that was quite a strange statement for most people. They said that I understand it the other way around, going to the snow and having to play there, but you're going to play in hot weather, you're fine. Like surely, or warmer weather.
It's going to be nice weather as well. It's not going to be like too hot.
Exactly,
it's going to be quite nice, but yeah, I think the way Miami's playing at the moment, the way Bills are playing, like just looks like the Bills could take it. No, I don't. In general, I don't like the Bills. I think they're just so up and down.
Yeah.
Like, you just get garbage performances and then like superhero performances from Josh Allen, but.
I mean, he's still throwing picks a game.
Oh
yeah, a bigger game.
He is, but I think he'll probably still get that. I think they're like 4th favourites for the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl at this stage, even though they may not even make it into the playoffs. Just because it's so up and down. If they're on their game, they can beat.
Yeah, I was going to say in the playoffs, you kind of it's a level playing field. Then formulas out the window.
You get momentum and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, what do you think, Kriski?
I think Miami are going to do it. Really? I just think they're going to bounce back, and I do think Miami still will top that division. Right. But I think the Bills will squeak through just purely because I think it does come down to the AFC South, which we've said obviously Jacksonville could easily miss out, which is mad. So they're at the Titans, and then you come down to Houston at the Colts as well. So CJ's back. Yeah, they won last week, so that's their first winning season, I think, for God knows how long.
Yeah, that whole division can well, no, that whole division can't get into it. Most of that division can get in. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, so I think so I don't know. Who do you think is going to actually come through then?
Jags looked better against the Panthers, but still didn't look that confident. The Panthers just looked quite bad, rather than the Jags looking really good for me. I would not feel confident if I was the Jags right now.
Well, it depends if Trevor's back as well, I guess.
Yeah, I think Houston could take that. I think the Jags. Yeah, I think the Jags falter. I don't think Trevor's been healthy at all.
No.
And I think, people have knocked him. But obviously he's a really good quarterback. He's obviously really good. Like when he's healthy, he's played really well. But he's clearly been injured all season. They've just been throwing him out there. I don't think they've got enough, and I actually think it's better for them if they don't make it to the playoffs, because I think the more he plays, the worse this is getting. And I think he actually just needs the rest, and then they take it fresh next year. I don't think they're not winning the Super Bowl.
No,
they're not winning the Super Bowl.
No chance.
You're like, maybe they'll get lucky and win a playoff game if they get it. Maybe, but it would be against a tough Browns team maybe. That Browns team would tear apart.
Yeah.
That Browns team would rip them.
Mate, Joe Flacco, mate, tell you, it's going all the way.
He's cooking.
Talking about Brock's Hollywood story, I think Joe Flacco coming from couch to win a Super Bowl, mate, honestly.
I was looking at the odds of comeback player of the year, and everyone's always been saying it's going to be Damar Hamlin. After obviously his injury isn't even the right way to describe it. We'll go with injury, but that doesn't even do it justice. But odds pretty aggressively shifted a couple of weeks ago to Joe Flacco after what he's been doing. Like, he's already put on more passing touchdowns than the Jets have all season.
Yeah,
that's rough.
That's
mate, he's thrown
it's like 5-6 teams.
Yeah, like 4 games over 300 yards. That's huge.
Right. So you're saying he could be the comeback player, and he probably should be, because yes, Damar Hamlin, is coming back from that. I completely get that, and that's fair. But for a player who's completely out of the game, someone who's completely washed, and they're
407 years old.
I mean, he's still younger than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But yeah, really impressive.
Yeah.
I love that story, and that's cool. But I think Houston take it. Houston deserve it as well, actually. To be honest.
Yeah, I fell in love with CJ Stroud a little bit.
Houston are in the ascendancy. Obviously, CJ Stroud's injury knocked him back a little bit. I think if CJ hadn't got injured, they'd already have the playoffs.
And you think about Tank Dell going down as well.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, really big. But I don't think the Jags deserve to be there. I think the Texans could actually cause the Browns some problems, whereas I don't think the Jags would cause them any issues at all.
Wait, so the Texans need to beat the Colts and Jags lose, or tie with the Titans. But we're not using Titans. I'll take that out.
Yeah.
So essentially, they beat the Colts and Jags lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think if the Bills lose and the Steelers win, I think they move out as well.
I think if the Texans win, they're in. Because the Texans play the Colts, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll jump in. I think it's winning in for Texans. I don't think they need to rely on any results. I think that's just winning in for them.
Oh yeah. They win or they draw. This is where the tie. This is
where
the ties come in.
There's a lot of
crazy every bit.
No one's gonna get a tie.
Yeah. There's been none this season, obviously.
Yeah. But I think Texans are winning. They're in. So if the Texans beat the Colts, which I think they probably will, they get in. Which is why the percentage odds of them getting in is 48%, and the Colts is like 54%, because there's a tie scenario where it slightly shifts. But it's basically whoever wins between Texans and Colts is in.
Yeah.
And I think the Texans take them. What do we reckon?
No, I think the Texans do come through.
Yeah.
I think potentially the Steelers fall out, and I think potentially Jacksonville drop as well. But we'll see.
Yeah.
And then and then if we go into the other side, so in the hunt at the moment in the playoff spot, so you've got the Bucks and the Packers. So the Bucks are in there at the moment. Let's just get the NFC South out of the way, please, because this is just it annoys me talking about it. My Falcons are in it, but so the Bucks are in it at the moment. But obviously, it is still to play for between the Saints and the Falcons for that top spot, which is
Bucks play
Carolina.
Bucks have got Carolina, so you would expect them to come through. But if they were to lose, then it comes out to who wins out.
They're playing the worst team in the league.
Those could be trap games. Those could be trap games, where you think you've got it in the bag, but it's an important game. As long as the Bucks take it seriously, they should win. But if any of those players start thinking,
just give the ball to Bryce Young.
Yeah.
You'll win.
So I do think Tampa Bay still get that last spot, but it does. If they lose, it comes down to the Falcons and the Saints, and it's just I
just want to see Mike Evans and Rashad White and Baker.
Oh, I'd love to see Baker in the playoffs, mate. You know that.
As if they've given him a nickname already. The Bake Show.
The Bake Show. I just think the Saints are so boring. I don't know why. I much prefer watching the Bucks play. Like, it's a much better story. They
were entertaining at certain points when Chris Olave was balling out. Like, they've been entertaining. They got Alvin Kamara. They're relatively entertaining. You just don't like Derek Carr. He's just boring.
I don't know why I find them so boring. I don't know. I think I just find the whole South boring. That whole division boring. But I do like what Baker Mayfield's done. $4 million contract. He's basically done.
Yeah.
We need someone come in and do a job. We won't really expect too much, and he's got them in very good position to be in the playoffs fairly comfortably. Like they just need to beat the worst team in the league. Now, obviously, that could still happen, and obviously, but and he could still lose. But yeah, the Falcons are just hard to watch, man. If the Falcons get in,
it would be embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed myself. But
garbage.
And then the other last spot is pretty much between the Packers, Seahawks, and the Vikings. So Packers hold the last spot at the moment with an 8-8 record, but Seahawks 8-8 as well, and then the Vikings 7-9. So I think obviously the Packers win, they're in. But then if they do slip up and the Seahawks win, they take that spot.
That Vikings blowout changed the whole thing. Like them blowing the Vikings out changed everything. Everyone thought the Vikings were going to win that game. Like no stress, and then everyone was like, Jared Hall, wait what? Like, why isn't Nick Mullen playing? And then Jared Hall is garbage, and they're like, we'll throw Nick Mullen out there, he might be able to save us. No, that guy's just a gunslinger. You can't just bring him in the second half of the game and go, sort it for us. Like you've got to start that guy, because you've got to give him plenty of time to make his mistakes, he'll throw an interception, but give him his time to also throw you 2 or 3 touchdowns. Not even halfway through the game when he's down that far. He's just going to throw picks. Yeah. Like, he's just going to throw dangerous
Even the commentary team was saying it. I was like, God, if they're just saying But
I can't believe they didn't start him. Because, what was it? Kevin O'Connell was like, we wanted to give, Jaron a chance to, build himself into the league and give himself a chance.
You picked that game to do it.
You picked that game to do it is crazy to me.
Yeah, when you've still got a slight chance, whereas now it's looking pretty... They've got to go to the Lions and...
If they win that game, they're winning it. If they beat the Packers, they're winning it.
Oh, previous week. Sorry, I was thinking about this week.
Yeah, no. If they'd beaten the Packers, they would be winning in right now.
Yeah. Whereas now they've got to win at the Lions, and then they need the Packers to lose to the Bears,
which
could happen.
And Seahawks to lose to the Cardinals, and Saints lose to the Falcons.
Yeah, they need some wild stuff to happen. They've got percentage? They've got a 3% chance of making it. Yeah. Playoff probability 3%.
Yeah, they need everyone to lose.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I'll take it because, Love is about to make it into the playoffs. That's crazy.
Which, if you said that in October when he was all over the shop,
wild, right?
Yeah, it is mad.
Cooking him in October. I was one of them because he looked terrible. Some of the decisions were rough.
I think you'll beat the Bears though.
I think that's a tough out. I think that's really tough.
I think with Fields pretty much playing for his life at the moment.
Yeah, he's literally playing for his
and he's been playing very well. I will
that was one
give
of
him
my questions. I was going to say, do you think he can? He's bad enough to hold his spot, but you already think no.
I think so. I think he has. I think he's turned the tide a little bit enough in his favour for them to.
And the draft capital they can get for moving on that or trading.
You can actually build a strong team that I think where you've actually got someone who you know is capable. Why risk swapping them out to then have to rebuild for another 4 years? Yes, it could be rebuilt with a Joe Burrow, for example, or someone like that to that stature. But
capable.
But
they've had him for how many years?
This is his 3rd season.
So they're gonna have to pay him soon as well.
Yeah.
That's a problem. How much are you going to pay him? How are you then rebuilding the rest of the roster around him? I think you're putting yourself in a... If he was in his first year, and this was his rookie contract, I'd be like, that's an interesting one. Do you... Because you don't know what you've really got. You've seen some sparks of some stuff. He's played fairly well. He's had some moments. I think at that point they might consider trading the pick away. Bears fans have been so angry that they still haven't had a 4,000-yard passer. I think they're one of the only teams that haven't had a 4,000-yard passer.
Ever.
But they were chanting for him after the game the other night.
Yeah, because he's
capable.
Yeah, because you don't know what you've got with Caleb. They don't know what they're talking
exactly.
about. These are NFL fans who don't know what they've got. They can see the player in front of them playing well. Keep that guy. The potential of Caleb is so significant that I think you have to take him. I think if you don't take him and he plays really well in that other team, the whole office, the whole fam, they're crucified. Yeah. The GM will get fired.
Okay.
Just
so
like
hypothetically,
GM could get fired for that.
How much capital do you think you can get if you
trade that first?
You trade that first pick right now, then
Caleb.
Yeah, like at least 3 first rounders.
Probably 4.
Probably 4 first rounders.
Probably 4.
That's huge.
Probably 4. He's generational talent. That's why he's worth 4.
Oh man, I would hate to be that GM
There
right
would
now.
be, there would be
It's a horrible
some
decision
teams-
to make.
I reckon
that is.
I reckon there'd be some teams where you could get 4 first rounders and a player or a second rounder for him.
Yeah.
What's the
that
easy option?
guy-
What's the easy decision?
Are you taking?
What do you do with Fields though?
You probably get like
Trade him.
You trade him for a.
You probably get a couple of like a second and
You
a
probably
third
get a
maybe. Or
second. You
something.
probably get a second.
You think?
Probably get a second. Yeah. Well, you're about to have to pay him.
True.
Yeah.
So he's not on a rookie deal. You're gonna have to pay him. You don't really know what you've
I
got.
forget they inherit the contract, don't they?
Yeah. So they're gonna have to pay him. You can't just be like, we'll give you a rookie terrible deal. Like, no, because they'll be like, well, I've done some stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you can't pay me 3 million. Like, you're gonna have to pay me like 20. You're gonna pay that guy like 20 million.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Mm.
Probably more like 30. Are you paying 30 million a season for him? You're that confident in him? Caleb will come in and you'll have to pay him basically nothing.
Yeah.
This is
But then
crazy.
you still got the same players around you. Whereas now you've got capital to actually either trade away to get players straight away in and build around fields.
They've had capital.
Where's Fields gonna go though? Like we've mentioned before,
Yeah, I don't know who would
half the
best-
QBs are gonna change. Half the starting QBs are gonna change next year.
There's a lot of teams that would want him. There's a lot of teams that would want him. He can play. Like he can play in this league. You just
Who would trade so much to get Caleb though as well? On the flip
Oof.
side.
Well, I mean, who's got the capital for it? That's the thing. Like, who would do that? There'll be a few teams knocking around. Maybe
It's an interesting one, that one.
Yeah.
Patriots.
I think maybe someone who would want. Just going back to the Justin Fields, I was just thinking about who would want him. Atlanta.
Atlanta
Might take
or
Fields.
yeah,
Just
homeboy.
can't get quarterback right, and someone who can
Even the
play
Saints as well. I thought the Saints would be a shout as well, just because Derek Carr seems to be toxic down there.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, well, yeah. The other
Vegas as well.
Yeah, Vegas seems to like Aiden O'Connell, and they've got
This-
mine's gone blank. Garoppolo,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
I think Denver is an interesting one as well because
Yeah, they're trying
What's
to get
happening with Russell Wilson?
trying to get rid of Russell.
that he's going to be
Unfit
The most
to not get paid next year.
expensive, like cap hit by miles.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. I think they're trying to get rid of him this year because then it will only cost him like 83 million.
Only 83 million.
Yeah, 83.
For an extra 39, wasn't it? If he
Oh, it's only an extra like couple million. If it's only an extra couple million, but you're just stuck with him at that point. So they're trying to get rid of him at least so they can start doing something. Because clearly Sean Payne doesn't like him. That's obvious, right? He doesn't like him. It's not working. So he's trying to move on from him. So you either basically hit yourself with 83 million now, or it's like 85 million next year, and you're stuck with him. So they're like, well, we save ourselves 2 million, and we can actually get a quarterback we want because this isn't the guy. They might go for him. Dick for a trade for him.
Fair enough.
Don't know if he's the guy they want. I don't know if Sean Payton's used to having someone like Drew Brees, and he's not getting Drew Brees again. He's not going to trade for Caleb Williams. That would be wild. You'd have to trade everything. You'd have to sell the whole house for that, and it's not worth it.
exactly.
Well, maybe it is worth it. But I mean, whoever gets Caleb Williams and does it right will basically have their quarterback for the next 10, 15 years.
Will he change? Will he be an instant impact? Do you think, and change
Like a Joe
the
Burrow
fact of
Cincinnati
the course of their season next year?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, in theory, he could be because he's that talented. Joe Burrow was a really interesting one, actually, because he really did turn around an absolutely garbage franchise.
Yeah.
But situations matter. So I've said this a bunch of times before, and it's said on a bunch of other shows that we watch as well. But situation matters, so and environment matters. So if you go to a team that is got good management, good leadership, good coaching, you can build yourself into a team and be successful. Brock Purdy, great example. Right, he could have easily gone somewhere and never played, or have played like a game and got absolutely cooked,
Yeah.
and that would have been his career. He didn't. He ended up in a good situation, and now look at, like, he's probably going to get paid some money somewhere. Like, I mean, I don't know how much, but fine. He will be a backup somewhere for the rest of his career. Whether he starts, whether he doesn't, he'll make himself a very, very nice living for the rest of his life because of the situation he came into in the 49ers.
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke's the same because of one good playoff game. He's going to make himself a solid career as a backup because of it. So I think it'd be interesting to see how that situation plays out, and if he does end up with the Bears has not been a good situation for quarterbacks, really, ever. So I think that's a tough one. But if he ends up, I don't know if he can veto it, but he might try and veto the Bears. But Could be really interesting. But I like Caleb. He's going to be nuts.
It's going to be an interesting.
Let's hope he doesn't get injured, man. There's so much hype.
Yeah. But he's not a run first quarterback. This is the other thing. Is a lot of quarterbacks that are coming out are like big runners. Like Justin Fields was a big runner. Lamar came out as a massive runner of the ball. Like these were all pacey.
That's why they like it's attractive, isn't it? Because they like Anthony Richardson, dual threat.
Dual threat, yeah. So you want a dual threat about you, and he can run. Doesn't rely on the run.
Yeah.
He can throw absolute dimes, and he can run. It's a complementary piece, so you have to respect his ability to run. That's all you want. You don't want someone to be a primary runner and also sometimes throws the ball, because they'll get injured. It happens to basically every running quarterback. We were like, maybe Anthony Richardson will be the exception. 2 games in, 3 games in, and then he came back and then got injured again. Like it just is what it is. It's a dangerous game. But yeah, I love me some Caleb, man. I think you take him regardless. I don't think you can afford to give up someone who's potentially better than. Because when Trevor Lawrence came out, people were like, Trevor Lawrence is the most talented guy to come out of the draft in decades. The only player who came close was Andrew Luck. This guy's a lock, first overall, and he'll be a great quarterback in the league. And he's been good. He's had moments and he's been injured, fine, but he's a great quarterback. People are saying Caleb's better. That's crazy. So,
anyway,
just spoke on about that. Sorry.
Team Fields, but back to
Team Fields is crazy.
But back to the NFC playoffs then. So, do you see out of the current spots how it is? Do you see anyone dropping out from either the Packers or the Bucks?
Nah, I think Bucks and Packers take it.
Yeah? Bits?
Yeah.
Agreed.
So that would leave then, obviously 49ers with a bye. It will then leave the Packers, go to the Cowboys, as if things were to stand. The Rams at the Lions and the Eagles at the Bucks. So any upsets from those games?
Those last 2 games could be an upset. I think the Cowboys at home are just too solid and will take the Packers.
Especially teams like who.
I think. Dallas at home is a different animal. Those last 2 games, same again.
Rams at the Lions.
The Lions have looked a little bit ropey of late.
The Rams, they've scored points recently.
Rams against who?
At the Lions.
Rams at the Lions. That's juicy. Yeah, that could be coin flip level close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Rams are sneaky.
Depends what Rams turns up. Like Kyron Williams is running all over the place.
Yeah, it is very much.
You got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. He's having an unreal rookie season.
Yeah, I think a couple of things matter here: experience in coaching, and experience of players. Experience of players, maybe not, except for Cooper Kupp, and obviously Cooper Kupp mainly. But you've got McVay, and I think that actually might be the difference. He can make adjustments. He's been in the playoffs before. He's won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Campbell's not done anything. And I just think that I really like Dan Campbell. I like what he offers, and an absolute lunatic. But like
the first playoff game since 2003, something like that.
I think that's a tough spot to be in, to come in. And Jared Goff's obviously been there before, and he can win those games. No one else really has. Yeah. I think it might be a shock for them when that Rams team, Aaron Donald, these guys have got experienced shoulders on them. And I think they take it. And I think Puka Nacua seems just unfazed by pressure.
He's just loving life, man. Every time I see him, it reminds me of Danny Diaz off Ted Lasso, man. He's just happy to be there. He's just loving life. He's like, but yeah.
He's living his dream.
The only player that might get the yips or might get nervous would be maybe Kyron Williams. But he's just performed.
He's a battering ram.
And I think if you're worried about your running back being the player that might let you down, I think that's the position you accept, because running back's fairly stable. Like, just don't drop the ball, hang on to it, run through the gaps, you're good. Like, it's a fairly simple position to play in terms of damage. Whereas, I know they're all complicated, but wide receivers have to hit exactly the certain point, and if they make a minor mistake, that can cost you massively.
Yeah.
Whereas for running backs, it's like, concentrate, hold on to the ball. Even if I make 1 yard less because I'm just concentrating on holding the ball, that's fine. Like, wide receivers need to really concentrate, because if you mess it up, you can lose a game.
I could argue that the running back also needs to read the gaps correctly. But
I mean, the cost of a mistake, I think, could be really significant for a wide receiver. We've seen it with the Chiefs, right? Wide receivers making mistakes, losing you games.
Yeah.
Running backs can obviously lose you games if you fumble the ball, and obviously there's risks to both positions. But I just think if the player who you're most concerned about in terms of nerves and potentially being in a tough spot is the running back. I think that's the position you want to be in that position. Matthew Stafford is an experienced guy, knows what's going on, and he's been there before.
Yeah.
I think that matters in this kind of situation, and I think they could take him.
Yeah, and then the last one is the Eagles on the road taking on Bake Off.
Do you know? I think the Bucks could take that. The Eagles look ropey.
It's crazy.
It's mad, isn't it? Like the space of 3-4 weeks, and the Eagles are just all over the shop.
Yeah,
I think it was coming. I think, like even listening to Kelsey's podcast, even he said like they've struggled in certain areas. I think it was coming. I think a little bit of bad form.
Their turns were pretty crazy though. I heard earlier that they are the first team ever to start the season 10-1 and lose 5 games.
That's brutal, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sold on that at all. I think that's a risky one. But some juicy games next week. Playoffs coming up. It's going to be excellent. Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming up. So
you have to try and stay awake and watch all these games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, lots to look forward to.
Especially that Bills.
Yeah, that Monday night.
Yeah, we got
Monday morning.
Saturday. The Saturday night.
Oh,
game.
Monday morning. Okay.
Monday morning.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, we got a Saturday night game, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Then most of them are then Sunday, and then you got the late game, the Buffalo, Miami.
Yeah. But juicy.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. This is where it gets into the juicy part of the season.
It really does. In the playoffs.
When are we making our Super Bowl predictions then? This week or next week?
As soon as I know the playoff picture, we're picking our route, I think.
You'll do it next week, don't do it now?
No, we'll do it next week. As soon as we know who's in the playoffs, you can picture that route to the big game.
Alright, we'll do it next week. Cool. Anything else?
Nah, just excited. Last week.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling it. The last week's always can be a bit ropey, but it's always...
Now
there's some
there's
games
some things up in the air, which is
some
nice.
games.
Lots up in the air. It's all divisional, so I love that.
Yeah.
Love that they do that. It's all divisional.
Is that how they always do it?
Yeah, always divisional. Last week is always divisional matchups, so it's always got more to play for. Yeah, man. It's going to be good. Juicy. Alright, cool. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.